So taking either the sitting position or the reclining position and the eyes closing. So today's practice dedicated to sage Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is a legendary, is like a very fierce sage. But the name is very sweet. It simply means Vishwamitra, meaning friend of the universe. So how do we become a friend of the universe? To become a friend of everything, we have to have an empathetic connection with everything. We have to feel a certain oneness with everything. So the pose itself is difficult, but to have this inner friendship towards all, that attitude, that is even more difficult to develop, that capacity. But it's a very noble intention, a very beautiful direction to become a Vishwamitra. And sage Vishwamitra himself, towards this endeavor, he himself formulated, he is credited with the formulation of a very famous mantra called Gayatri mantra. So Gayatri becomes the contemplation of this sitting. So you're sitting here with the eyes closed. I just want you to look at whatever is coming up in your mind. Now whatever comes up, if you keep on observing, you'll find that we are basically connecting to the words and the forms. There is an image aspect to the experience, as well as there is a word aspect to the experience. And then this nama and the rupa, it has a taste aspect. So the name of a person comes up in your consciousness, or the image of a person comes up in your consciousness. Most likely together with it, a taste also will develop. That's the rasa. So sometimes a few images or thoughts come up, they are shanta rasa, you're calm. And sometimes it might be a kama rasa, you might get enchanted with that form or with that object. And sometimes it's bibhatsa, sometimes it's fear, but that's a bhava. So if you really identify with that taste, that becomes your state of mind. So we say we are lonely, we are depressed, that is the bhava, that is the state. Due to identification with a feeling, which is continuously staying because of certain names and forms which is continuously forming in our minds. So now our idea is to just observe all this. Name, form, nama, rupa, and then whether there is this taste changes in our consciousness, rasa. Now I just want you to deliberately think of the last time you watched a movie. It is basically you're looking at streaming light. So the good guy, the bad guy, the lady, the child, everything is basically, the basis of all those images is light. If the electricity goes off in the theater, no show. You can't see anything. So the basis of whatever comes up is light. Now I just want you to look at the formations in your own consciousness in the same way. Behind the narratives of the verbal content or images, the basis of that is light. It is getting lit in your awareness. So I would like you to try practicing suspending your mind's capacity to give names and forms to whatever is forming. And try to connect to this light principle which is illuminating whatever is forming. The adhisthana of nama and the rupa and the rasa is this light, is this tejas. Slowly you will see that the you as a subject and the various images and the words as an object, all of that is illuminated by the same light. Everything is connected by the oneness of this light. So can you feel that singular light of consciousness? And if you start to connect to it and you feel it, then you're moving from a Bheda Bhava. So Bheda Bhava is this divisive state where you feel lonely and isolated because you feel you're separated from others. And when you even slightly connect to this oneness of the light, the subject and the objects and everything connected in this singular stream of light of consciousness, you are starting to experience a Bheda Abheda Bhava. There is a difference of objects, but there is an underlying oneness. The light is the same. Now as you connect to this light, this unifying light, this wonderful, splendorous light which can absorb all duality and differences in its brilliance, this light, isn't it worthy of our contemplation? Isn't it worthy of our abidance? We normally abide onto the people which is lit up in this light, and we crave and or detest whatever is forming in this consciousness. But we never really look at the base light which is illuminating, the Adhisthanam. So this is where the Gayatri mantra forms. Dhimahi, Vayam Dhimahi, meaning let us contemplate, let us put our buddhi, Dhi means buddhi, Dhimahi on this Bharga. Bharga means radiance, this light of consciousness, this unifying light of consciousness. Let's apply, let's direct our attention, buddhi, onto this Bharga, radiance. Radiance, we can think that this radiance is coming from where? The Gayatri then says that Devasya, Bhargo Devasya. This Bharga is of Deva. Deva, the meaning is Divudyodhana Swarupa, meaning light, that which is the self-effulgent principle. So your awareness is naturally lit, and that is called Deva, that principle of light. And is there a name to this? This Gayatri mantra gives a name saying Savitaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Savitaha is the name, simply means sun. Vachyartha, the meaning of the word is sun. But Lakshanartha, meaning it implies the light of consciousness. That which is the basis of everything in this universe. This universe meaning our world is our consciousness. After deep sleep, you're waking up, meaning your mind gets lit. And then with that light, your sense organs are lit. And you suddenly, all the names and forms which you know, suddenly all of them get lit. And that is your universe. And your body, your mind, the ideas of who you are, everything is lit. And now, just for a few moments, sit with the contemplation of who am I? And allow that proliferation of ideas, names, words, judgments. Let everything come. And knowing that these are just the nama and the rupa aspect of you, just names, words, and feeling about you. But what is lighting it up? What is the adhisanam of this? Don't forget that light. That is the real swarupa. That is the akanta sada, meaning the undivided existence of you. That light in which you as an expression is shining, that is the same light in which others are also shining. Everything is shining in that light of consciousness. So as you really connect to this light, you connect to that akanta sat. Sat means existence, akanta meaning undivided. And as you stay with this light, the akanta sat is chitta also. Chitta meaning, and this knowing. It's not just a torchlight kind of thing. This light of awareness is continuously knowing. And this Sata is not only Chitta, it is also Ananda. So when you connect to that pure light, the feeling, the rasa and the bhava of this light is Shanta and Ananda. There is a bliss to it. So see whether you can move towards this direction. And there is this, like a prayer, it is said, Diyo Yona Prajodayad. Let it really inspire us, our buddhi, towards right directions. Our buddhi's problem is, it always brings up Brahma. So Patanjali talks about Bhranti Darshanam. We superimpose name and form onto objects, obscuring the true nature of the object. And that is Bhranta or Brahma, hallucination. So like we see, there's a rope and we see a snake. That is Brahma. We superimpose the idea of a snake on top of the rope. But even for the snake to exist as a hallucination, it still needs a basis of the rope. The rope is the adhisthanam. Similarly, though we are now connected and limited by names and forms and judgments, Just underlying that is the adhisthanam, which is this pure, limitless, formless light. And that is, when you connect to that pure light, it is pramanam, which is the right knowledge. So prama and brahma. We want to move from brahma, our buddhi, towards recognizing brahma. So staying here, you really acknowledge this light. And you do a namaskaram or namaste to this abheda bhava, the sense of non-differentiated oneness. And when you are with that non-differentiated oneness, you become a Vishwamitra. You truly become a friend of the universe, because whether it is a chara or a ajara, whether it is a animate or inanimate, or everything is shining in the same light of consciousness. At least in your own universe, in your inner universe, everything is lit by this light. Towards that, our namaste.